India's emergence as a global economic powerhouse has led to now also agreements and free trade agreements with several countries, including the Nordic countries. And India has been looking at embellishing these partnerships with deals that are beneficial to both trade partners. And joining me now is the ambassador from Finland to India. So thank you so much for speaking to NDTV. Welcome to Mumbai. You're leading, I believe, a very big delegation to Mumbai. Tell us a little bit about what's on the agenda and what kind of agreement and partnerships are you looking at when it comes to India?
Well, of course, this delegation is one of the so-called Team Finland trips that we do to different parts of India. And Maharashtra and Mumbai, of course, are key places for many Finnish companies. Many are present here already, and on this trip we have some 20 companies who are interested in developing further their cooperation and businesses here in Maharashtra.
And we're talking about the 75 years of the Finland-India partnership, diplomatic cooperation. But tell me something, what are the areas that you feel that this partnership can really take off in a big way?
Well, we have conceptualized our cooperation with the word DESI as local, but it comes from digitalization, education, sustainability and innovation. And nowadays we also like to add their plus M, meaning mobility. So those are really the areas that we see the best potential for mutually beneficial cooperation, because those are the areas where Finland has high quality expertise, and I do believe that India's scale and let's say innovative business world are ready to cooperate with.
I couldn't have thought of a better acronym. DESI is I think, appealing to the Indian populace. But, I'd like to ask you, Finland has been successful and has a proven track record when it comes to developing a circular economy and clean transition models. Now those things are something that India can definitely incorporate, especially when it comes to waste management. And India has, seen an air pollution crisis as well. Tell us, in areas where India can really manage, issues with the participation and a partnership with Finland better.
Yeah, I think circular economy is one area where Finland has been moving quite early on. And already in 2016 we had a national roadmap for circular economy. And since 2017, the Finnish Innovation Fund Sitra has developed the concept for the World Circular Economy Forum, which really is a leading forum for putting together experts and academia and businesses and governments to develop best practices globally for circular economy. And this year the event took place in Brazil, in Sao Paulo, and next year it will take place in India, maybe in October. And this is really a key event, not just for the bilateral relationship between Finland and India, but also a global event really. And I think it comes at an opportune moment when India is putting also more and more emphasis in developing circular economy, which I feel is very necessary also here.
And you're in Maharashtra and Mumbai, the business financial capital of India, and I think Maharashtra is also largely a coastal economy, and it has a vast coastline. It's developing, parts of its coastline. There are new ports on the anvil, new airports. All of those things are coming about, shaping up. Maharashtra and Mumbai will, in Maharashtra will soon join the league of cities that boast of dual airport, connectivity. So tell us, in such a scenario where there's a coastal economy and a focus on coastal economy, how does it become a hub for businesses from Finland? And can you cite some cases where what you would describe as local successes?
Well, Finland also is a coastal economy, and we have developed very advanced solutions, for example, for marine engines. We have a company called Wärtsilä, which is one of the few companies that builds most of the marine engines, for example. And they have also developed engines that can use new generation fuels, these new fuels, and that's I think something that is good to remember when India is also increasing its fleet quite a bit in the future and building more let's say port capacity, but also shipyard capacity. So of course we also have companies who do very advanced systems for port handling equipment. Konecranes is one of them, and there are many others as well who already do business here in India. As well, then what becomes more and more important is to take care of the environment and, for example, prevent and treat oil spills when they happen. So we have expertise in that field as well. We have a company called Lamor, which is operating globally in this sector. So those are perhaps some of the examples that come to my mind immediately, but that's not all that we have.
One of the things that we've also been talking about is Finland's contribution when it comes to the modernization of one of the oldest, most well-known and the historic Sassoon docks. And I believe there's a memorandum of understanding with the government of Maharashtra to boost the local startup ecosystem as well in that area. Can you share some details on that as well?
Yeah, well, that's an MOU concluded between Maharashtra and the Consulate General of Finland in Mumbai. And the idea really is to develop cooperation in the startup sector, for example, and innovation sector more broadly. And I think one of the concrete things that could be done, for example, is to send a delegation also from Maharashtra to one of the biggest startup financing event called Slush in Finland in November next year. Of course, there are also other possibilities, but that are being discussed. But this is one concrete thing that we are putting forward.
And I think mobility is one of the areas where I think Finland has an edge. And how is Finland engaged in discussions or advanced discussions, I believe, to finalize a new mobility agreement with India to ease the movement of skilled professionals, especially entrepreneurs in high demand sectors like IT, healthcare, education, and enhancing people-to-people ties between the two countries?
Yeah, actually, India has been for a good number of years already been a target country for a government program in Finland called Talent Boost, which aims at attracting experts and students from India to Finland, also from other countries. But like I said, India is one of the focus countries. And now we are also finalizing an MOU between India and Finland to let's say, streamline the procedures and make sure that those who wish to move have all the support that they need. Here I also want to emphasize that it's very important that people should not trust all kinds of middlemen that there are plenty of here in India, but trust only official channels in getting information and then to process their applications, for example.
A couple of quick questions before I actually wrap up. And one of the things that I wanted to ask you is when it comes to partnership with Indian businesses, what are the sectors you're identifying? Are there any specific companies that you're identifying that you believe could be looking at a partnership for the future, especially in the areas of economic focus that you mentioned?
Well, we have already some of the biggest Finnish companies like Nokia here employing some 17 or 18,000 people, doing manufacturing here, research and development and services, and that's the ITC sector overall is very potential because of Finnish know-how. But it also includes some very high-tech areas like quantum computing, artificial intelligence, space, and that sort of things where I do see good potential. And then overall this sustainability side, with clean energy solutions, using these advanced fuels for new type of engines, for example, and taking care of the grid in a way that enables also the increased use of renewable energy, because then the fluctuation of the grid becomes a problem, and you need more and more, for example, balancing power and smart grid management, and those are all areas where Finland has considerable expertise.
And we've recently had a partnership with the United Kingdom and a trade agreement, and I think the EU is also looking at a trade agreement with India, and this is something that we've been discussing And I'll come to the second part of my question later. But when you talk about these agreements, what about how does Finland see this EU agreement coming about, and specifically an agreement perhaps with Finland?
Well, it's for us, it's the EU agreement, because as part of the EU, it's the Commission that has sole powers to negotiate it. So we are very optimistic at the moment, and we see that free trade agreement between the EU and India would really be in many ways a game changer, an important signal in present day world. Also, I do believe strongly that it would bring out the full potential on both sides in improving market access and business environments on both sides for the exporters, but also investors and others. So whether we will get the agreement by the end of this year or very soon after that remains to be seen. But I'm quite optimistic at this stage. But I think next week will show how things develop further.
Now, I know this has been a problem area when it comes to India's relationships with the West, especially over the last few months and perhaps the last year or so. One is India buying, Russian oil, and the other, of course, is being India's relationship and historic relationship with Russia, and President Putin is expected in India. And the Ukraine situation is something that everybody, even in the Indian Prime Minister has said that this is not an era of war, it's an era of peace. But in spite of that, India's relationship with Russia, especially when it comes to economic sanctions and other issues that have been discussed in this area, has been a roadblock or a stumbling block. How do you see that as far as, what we've discussed, and also specifically on President Putin's visit to India?
Well, I would just like to say that in everybody's interest, it would be to end the war in Ukraine as soon as possible. But we also have to keep in mind that Ukraine is the victim of a war of aggression, an unprovoked war of aggression. And therefore, any solution to end the war must be acceptable to Ukraine. Also, I think it's very important for the international community that the aggressor is not rewarded, because that would create, I think, different and dangerous precedent even for other countries if they find out that this sort of aggression would pay off. So therefore, we see it very important that all countries would do their best to find a balanced and a lasting solution for this war.
And with the historic summit coming up, do you hope that perhaps this could also be, in a way, the road towards peace, and India could play a role in that road towards peace?
Well, I'm sure that India is such a big player in the world nowadays that India's weight also should be put behind any peace efforts that there are.
Thank you so much for speaking to NDTV, and we really appreciate you giving us our time. I hope you have a great stay in Mumbai, and I hope that the partnership and the deal that you spoke about, especially the free trade agreement with the EU, does come about soon. Thank you so much for speaking to NDTV.
Thank you so much.